Alright, hello and welcome to this Piney News weather update. This is a weather update mainly. We're going to talk about a number of things. I don't feel like setting up the camera, so we're just going to do screenshots and show you what's been going on with the weather. This is not an image from today, just to make note of that, but it's symbolic of the kind of weather we've had all day today. Very stormy, very humid, and let's just get right into what's going on. We're going to first start with what's going on in our area, and then talk about the smoke situation up in Canada. First things first, let's take a look at tonight's storms. Long Island really missed out on tonight's storms. We really didn't get hit too hard. That can't be said for the same for this morning. However, as you can see right here on this radar loop, as of around 8:30 this evening, it's 8:18, 8:17, whatever, New Jersey got a pretty big dose of thunderstorms this evening, but for Long Island, not too much. So we still had some pretty bright flashes of lightning and some, moderate showers, but nothing like what we had this morning. And so we have this this area here of thunderstorms, and this caused some damage in New Jersey as far as power outages go. There's a couple thousand power outages in Ocean and Monmouth County where these storms hit. And that's not surprising because they were pretty bad. We had a couple thousand too from the storms this morning. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rainfall totals from this morning's storms, as well as the storm reports. So I want to go over with you the rainfall totals for Long Island from this morning, and it was pretty impressive, I have to say. Now, the worst of it was in Suffolk, but the eastern part of Nassau County we hear it rained kind of heavy, but the worst of the rain and the lightning was in Suffolk County and eastern Nassau, the areas that really needed it. Farmingdale had 2.27 inches of rain this morning. In our area, we got probably 1.25. Doesn't have Westbury on here. See, Central Park only got almost around 3/4 of an inch. But now let's go into Suffolk County. This is where things get really impressive. East Shoreham, this is in the Pine Barrens area. 3.80 inches, so nearly 4 inches of rain this morning in the area. Riverhead, 3.61 inches. Northport, 2.79 inches. Calverton, 2.68 inches. Farmingville, 2.56 inches. Upton, again in the Long Island, the heart of the Long Island Pine Barrens, 2.17 inches. It's interesting to look at the difference between Upton and East Shoreham. That's quite a difference right there. And that's because I don't have a radar from that. I don't know where to get archived radar images, but the North Shore got hit a little harder than the South Shore did, and you can see the lower numbers are on the South Shore. Bay Shore 1.02, but the western part of I heard Deer Park got hit pretty hard. North Babylon got hit pretty hard, but generally, yeah, the Pine Barrens definitely got a good amount of rain out of this, much needed for the lakes and for all the vegetation there. So it's been a bit. If the past couple of months, it's been a little dry in our Pine Barrens, so it's good to see a good amount of rain fell where it was needed today. All right, so we're going to go over some local storm reports, and there was some flash flooding. This is in Southold here in Suffolk County. Somebody got trapped in a Jeep. Floodwaters over the hood of the vehicle, so you can imagine how high that must be. Let's see if we can go a little further here. All right, we got a few more here. This is from earlier. So, flash flood in Great Neck Estates. Flash flood in Hale Site. Vehicle stuck in the water. Car stuck in water at West Hills in Suffolk County. Flooding in Crab Meadow, and flooding here as well in Wading River. So we got literally almost a month, in some areas a month's worth of rain in an hour or two. The other story has been the humidity, and the humidity has been very high. These are observations throughout the day at Farmingdale Republic Airport. And you can see just how humid it has been throughout the day here, with dew points well into the mid-70s. This is really juicy air. It's the kind of air that's going to give you those torrential downpours, flooding, and heavy drenching thunderstorms. And you can see here the kind of humidity we've been dealing with. The high was 81 here, but it wasn't that hot. It was cloudy most of the day, but the dew points were well into the mid-70s, almost as humid as it gets. But as you'll see coming up, it was even worse somewhere else. And the rainfall here, you can see the rainfall right here. from the storms. So let's go ahead to that somewhere else place. Toms River, Miller Air Park, which is by Toms River. And I tell you, Toms River lives up to its reputation of being absolutely hellish place to be in the summertime. So what we have going on here is you can see that it was much hotter there. It hit 88 degrees there. But now let's take a look at these dew points. No, they didn't have mid-70s. No, they had dew points in the upper 70s to around 80. Take a look at this observation here in the afternoon. 88 degrees with a dew point of 80. That's right, 88 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the air temperature with a dew point of 80. Can you imagine? That feels like 104 degrees. All right, so Toms River once again has shown it's just an unbearably hot place to be. They got some rain too this morning as well. Let's take a look. They got some rain this morning too. So they got 1.87 inches. So they got some of those storms too that we got as well. You know, we got hit a little harder, but they got some of that too. But these dew points are just almost unheard of in our area. You know, an 80-degree dew point is absolutely insane right here. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. That is an 80-degree dew point in Toms River. And I assume much of Ocean County and Monmouth as well had to endure such conditions. So that's just unbelievably bad. We've never seen dew points that high. That is really unusual. And this is due to our changing climate, which we should definitely be alarmed about. Because maybe the summers don't seem that much hotter, but I'll tell you this, they're a lot more humid having these dew points this high. 88 degrees with a dew point of 80. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. You know, if that doesn't alarm you, especially if you're living in that area, I mean, thankfully it did not get that bad on Long Island, but an 80-degree dew point. You know, Toms River, again, is not a place if you want to live if you don't like heat and humidity. It's really almost like the Florida of the tri-state area when you look at these readings. And the last thing that we want to look at in terms of the weather is the smoke. All right, this is the MODIS satellite off the WorldView site from NASA, and this is an image from August 12th, but I want to show you how the smoke has moved from these fires and how far north it's moved and why we should all be very, very alarmed about this. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this into motion here and I'm going to show you how the smoke has progressed. So you can see how thick the smoke is. Move this up a little more. You can see how thick the smoke is now. This is August 14th. Look at how thick the smoke is. All this gray stuff you see, this is all smoke, and it's spreading almost across the entire country of Canada. This is incredible. It's up into the Northwest Territories. You have fires by Yellowknife, not right by Yellowknife, but close in that general area. And the smoke is making its way into the Arctic Circle. So we make our way to August 15th here. Let's push this along. You can see the smoke starting to travel around throughout Canada. This is like, I've never seen so much smoke on a satellite image ever. Never. And also, if we look over here, you can see Gert. Right over here, this is Gert. So let's just zoom in a little bit right now at August 15th. I'm going to take you in a little closer here so you can see just how thick this smoke is. This is over the Northwest Territories. This is like really thick smoke. I've never seen smoke. This looks like a freaking volcano erupted. And these are from forest fires. This is not a volcano, but it's like a volcano erupted. And you can see here, I'll show you Gert again. This is Gert. Thank God I missed that. You can see it was really starting to strengthen. Luckily, it has moved away. You can see Gert here. It has moved away. Now we're on August 16th. It has moved away. And let's again take a look at the smoke. We'll zoom out here. Oh, that's too far. You can see all the smoke here. This is insane. So this is August 16th. We're going to go over to August 17th now. And you can see the smoke beginning to travel now. You can still see some smoke. The good news is they're getting some relief now. August 17th, this was yesterday, there's starting to be some relief along in British Columbia. The smoke is starting to get drifted away. I think maybe they had a little rain and a little moisture, which helped the fires subside a little bit. You can still see that there are fires in Northern California and Southern Oregon as well, going, not generating nearly as much smoke. But I want you to look at how far the smoke has traveled. So this is yesterday, and you can see, look at this. The smoke has traveled all the way. It looked like it was over our area. This is yesterday, August 18th, but it looked like it was over our area a little bit. You can see, if you take a look, you can see the smoke has literally gone over Newfoundland, the Canadian Maritimes. This is thousands and thousands of miles that this smoke has traveled, all across the entire country of Canada, all across New England there, and it looks like it was getting wrapped up in the system here. So I wouldn't be surprised the smoke probably eventually makes it over to Europe, probably. But the disturbing thing is, if we look over here, you can see, guess where the smoke is also winding up? Over the Arctic Circle. It's over the ice. This is ice over here. But the smoke is what's going to happen is it's going to start darkening the ice, and this is something that we need to be concerned about. So let me get to today's image, August 18th image here. And the smoke, again, is still, you can see a lot of smoke in the area here. So these fires are still burning, unfortunately. It's just insane. It's like there's a volcano there. It really looks like it. Wish it was a volcano, because a volcano would have been able to eject particles into the upper atmosphere, which could cool the planet, like after Mount Pinatubo erupted. But anyway, you can see the smoke has made its way all the way into the Arctic Circle here, and all this dark you see is smoke. And the problem is, this ice is very thin. I'm not going to get into it. You can watch Paul Beckwith's video. I've talked about him before. Check out his channel. He follows that a little more. But this smoke, it's over the ice. It's going to darken the ice. And the ice is, we have very little ice up in the North Pole right now. And the rate we're going, I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see an ice-free, we may get close to that by September, an ice-free Arctic, which is very disturbing. Everybody needs to be worried about that. This will be a climate catastrophe for the entire country, for the entire world. And we need to be taking this very seriously, and we are not taking it seriously enough. The media should be talking about this. And next we enter a place where I'm going to really talk about what I think of the media these days. So, welcome to this little brief prickly pear corner, and I have to bring up another prickly subject because the media is, with all the stuff going on, we have climate change going on, we have illegals in the country committing crime and causing all kinds of problems, and we have a president that isn't keeping his word on getting rid of all the illegals. But the media is not talking about that. They're not talking about that at all. Maybe it's different where you're at. So they're not spending time talking about this crazy weather. They're not talking about the fires. They're not talking that much about the crime epidemics that are going on in lower income areas because of the illegals that are still here. No, what they are talking about is a bunch of nonsense trying to bash our president, who I don't agree with on a lot of things. He certainly has disappointed me because he has not kept his promises to get rid of all the illegals, and now he's just getting rid of only some of the illegals, and there's a lot of reasons to be pissed with him about that. But let me tell you this. The media is trying to label our president as a racist. The media is trying to intimate that our president supports white supremacy, and that is a bunch of bullshit. A bunch of bullshit, because, this protest that happened in Charlottesville, they're trying to say that it was a white supremacist protest. There were white supremacists at the protest. It's true. There were racists at the protest. But the protest was really about uniting conservatives, uniting people in support of our president against these liberals that are coming and trying to destroy our history. I am against slavery. I am against racism, but there are symbols of our history that are in this country that are being destroyed. You don't have to agree with these symbols of the history, but they have a right to be there because they are part of our history. And they are being taken down by these leftist lunatics. And when the president said both sides are to blame, which is very fair, He wasn't taking sides at all. He was saying both sides of the blame for the mayhem that happened in Charlottesville. He was only being fair. He wasn't taking sides. That's what he was supposed to do. But the media continues to demonize this president and label him as a racist. The media, the fake news. Let me tell you, all the people in the media, whether it be our local media, whether it be News 12, whether it be the national media such as CNN, they are all out to unconstitutionally force this president out of office. He was elected by the people legally. He is our president for the next 4 years, whether you like it or not. All right? I'm usually disappointed that he hasn't gotten rid of all the illegals, but he is our president. All right? And you will have a choice to change your president in 4 years. But right now, he is our president, and the media needs to back off trying to demonize him. I mean, our local media, they spend so much time. News 12 spends 15 to 20 minutes of every hour running these fake news stories about our president. Meanwhile, they spend very little time on the local things that are happening, the illegals that are destroying our neighborhoods, such as the illegals that are the gang members, all this crap that's affecting us. They don't talk about it. What they talk about is a bunch of nonsense trying to push their agenda because Soros, the Clintons, and the globalists, they're very desperate now, and they're really showing their desperation in the media. The people that were the counter-protesters in Charlottesville, they're known as Antifa. They are nearly a terrorist organization. They support communism. And that's what the media is not telling you. The media is making it seem completely one-sided. The media, to be fair and unbiased, we don't have that in our mainstream media anymore. So I just wanted to tell you about that. I don't like to get into a habit of talking about this too much. This is a prickly subject that needs to be talked about because there are a lot of people out there who seem to believe what the TV is telling you. Let me tell you, mainstream media is dead. It is no longer a relevant, unbiased source of news information. We have to look at different alternative news outlets now. The mainstream media can no longer be trusted to give us a fair story on what is going on. And what happened, how they covered what happened in Charlottesville, that is totally a perfect example of why we cannot trust the mainstream media anymore, because they are giving us fake news. And that has been this Prickly Pear Corner. So I want to thank you for watching this Piney News Update. I know a little unusual that I didn't really get in front of the camera. We'll have a more normal one next time. I just didn't feel like setting it up and everything. Anyway, so that's it. And as the sun sets on this, you see this is a sunset at Argyle Lake in Babylon. Very nice place to be, especially to watch the sunset here on Long Island. So take it easy, and thank you for watching.